responsibility for that question. As Mr. Chittick stated, in 2012, already the decision should have been made on the purchase of the engine that is coming online in 2016, and that decision was not made. As supervisory board, we don't want to go into the blame game of who had to do what. We are at a situation right now that needs to be addressed, and the situation is being addressed. We don't want to go back to the past with what happened and who to blame. Everybody knows, and you can do your research to see who was in government between 2012 and 11 and 9, 10 and all the years, right? This time we want to focus forward, right, and look at the operations of the power plant, what needs to be done, look at the issues that needs to be done with personnel, etc., etc. Those are things we want to focus on, and those are things we are going to be focusing on. But we will not go into who had to do what. Mr. Chittick used that as an example, that when you do not make timely decisions, the consequence of not making timely decisions can be the effect that we are having today.
Some parts are internal in the engine, cannot see them from the outside. The piston rings, for example, that fail, cannot be seen from outside. The engine that failed us last Friday and Sunday was overhauled October last year, 2016.
2015.
So 16, it was overhauled.
2015 October.
15, yes, sorry.
And
2015,
during that overhaul, they didn't see
those parts was replaced with new parts. The engine is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at full capacity. You have wear and tear on your components along the way. The parts also have a lifetime as well, and
which you're aware of.
yes, the lifetime haven't exceeded as yet, but parts are also manufactured. Some have a fault or not as well too. But the engines are maintained according to the maintenance schedules we have. One or two may exceed the intervals because of not being able to do it at a point in time, but they are maintained, yes. We had engine number 17 done for a major overhaul. Engine number 7 was done awaiting parts I mentioned, which have a delivery time. Engine number 12 had a failure, which is being worked on at present time as well too. And that left us with a few other engines to operate with. If one of those engines goes down, then we resort to load shedding.
Take into consideration at this point in time, based on the amount of capacity that is there right now, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chittick, there's no need for load shedding. The moment that you have an engine that will break down, for example, and with the other engine that is out, right, you may experience a need for load shedding.
Okay, Chairman Malin, the communication between the company and the public has always been a struggle. Of course, you know, the Facebook page is one that is updated as much as they can based on the schedule they receive from the power plant. Any ways to better the communication? Because I know people are frustrated about, you know, the continued out.
You know, I always say when GB is out, right, myself as a member of the supervisory board, first call I get is from my 88-year-old mother, who has to sleep in heat. So it concerns everybody on St. Martin. The communication problem, if you notice the last press release that was issued by GB, where it pertains to the engines and the amount of units, etc., was very detailed. That was on the insistence of the supervisory board, that Mr. Chittick was very welcome of that insistence of the supervisory board to sit with the communications manager at GB to give more detail to the public. The discussion this morning and the presentation by Mr. Chittick again was, you know, let's give the public more information with regards to the operations of GB, and
that's a week after, you know.
Yeah, but let me just finish, right? You can imagine that when GB is going through a situation of having engines out, load shedding, etc., for our supervisory board or management of GB to say, Mr. Chittick, leave the power plant and come up here to give write a press release for the public. You can imagine where the priorities lie. And I know, I follow the newspapers and I follow the editorial in the newspaper, etc. But I think if the Daily Herald would have a breakdown tomorrow in their printing equipment, right, the Daily Herald would not have no time to go to their newspaper and tell them print on our behalf, right? The Daily Herald concern would be getting their printing equipment back up and running. And when their printing equipment is back up and running, then they're going to come out and apologize to the public why their printing equipment was not running. I've seen it in the past. And I think you should look at GB in the same situation. The moment that GB has a breakdown of one or more of its engines, GB's priority is to restore electricity to the community. We living on an island. It was living in Europe where there is no need for GB to come out and tell the public we have a breakdown, because the public feels it, the public knows it, right? But if you're living in another country, which part you have, like Holland, which part if an engine failed in Holland and it switches over to Belgium, right, then you don't notice it. But on St. Martin, the public will notice it. But at that time, the priority for GB is to get electricity restored. And a couple of days after the situation is normalized, which is today, the situation is normalized. Today, we can pull Mr. Chittick out from his busy schedule to come up here to address the press, which I think is reasonable.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
No, you had a follow-up, you have a thought, because
It's to be clear, you're saying that they don't need to know right away, they need to know when it fixed. Just
what would be the priority of GB? The priority of GB is when electricity is out. The priority of GB is when electricity is out, to get electricity restored. Once the electricity is restored, right, then you can go to the public. I want to thank the public during these crucial times for their understanding and patience. But I can guarantee them that with this supervisory board in place, we are going to fix the problems together with management. The problems will not be fixed overnight. The problems will take time. But when you want to purchase engines, there's a lead time. For example, the new engine that we want to purchase for 2017, if we order it now, it's going to be available in June, July next year. There's a lead time of a whole year. The incoming supervisory board and incoming management and those persons who are managers in GB cannot fix the problem overnight, but it's going to take time. But we want to thank the public, and we want to thank the public for their patience displayed during these very crucial times for GB. And we can guarantee to the public, as long as the supervisory board is there, that we are going to do our best, our all-out human effort to make sure that the company can produce electricity and water to the community as expected.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEB.
Life is a journey, full of connections. You're in safe hands, even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
Today we got a press release from a member of parliament who is even condemning the situation and even linking it to certain medical threats on the island.
Medical what?
Medical threats, like for example, chikungunya, Zika,
Okay.
all of this, because of the garbage that are thrown all over the place. He's linking the two together, which I know the Minister of Health also is not here. So as leader of government, does the situation with garbage collection concerns you?
Definitely. I don't know which member of parliament and what the content of their release is, but if one would say that the garbage is linked to Zika, the number of cases on St. Martin as one landmass, one island. If my memory serves me well, the majority of cases and all of the first cases were diagnosed on the French side. So it would be kind of ironic to say that the garbage on the Dutch side caused people to be infected by Zika on the French side. But that's it. There is not a day that go by without I having some sort of discussion on the garbage collection. I have spoken extensively myself with one of the contractors in terms of my concerns. The social activist in St. Peter's, Koto, can tell you that on several occasions during the evening, when I leave the office sometime 10:30, 11 o'clock in the night, I would make a drive through to check on the area, and I met him during the day, during the evening. I don't know if any reports were made on it, but there was a stockpile of vehicles in the St. Peter's area in front of the old John Lamany school, the Prince Alexander School, where they were stockpiling car wrecks and other things related to a cleanup. Now, what I have noticed, and I'm speaking now as a resident of South Reward for the past 30 years, in the 30 years that I have lived at the same location, I have never seen, let's say, pallets nowhere near the garbage bins, nowhere near. And it was interesting to see the amount of pallets, the garbage bin that is placed just across from my house. I drove out of the yard one day, and there were about 6 to 8 pallets dumped outside at the bin. I drove a little further down, going towards St. Peter's by Bruni's recording studio. Just you go down the hill below George Pantoflet's residence, and by that bin, there were about a dozen pallets dumped there. There are no businesses in that area. And the question would be, who has been dumping pallets there? To my surprise, I drove a little farther out, and in the area of Cahill, there too, I saw pallets placed outside of a garbage bin. And I'm not saying this now because you asked the question, but I've spoken to the contractor and I said, I hope you guys have taken note of this thing. And I said, probably I'm talking to the wrong person, but I should be addressing this with the Public Works Department, who is charged with the inspection of collection, to ensure that people are not deliberately creating the impression that garbage is being created. So the impression that garbage is piling up, and definitely pallets in the area where I've seen them outside of a commercial area where there are no businesses, nowhere near to the streets that I'm talking about. Then the other issue that you have is nobody would take 10 pallets and put them even in a big SUV because they won't fit. And even if they fit, why would somebody load 10 pallets in an SUV or in the back of a pickup and then drive to a garbage bin where household garbage is supposed to collect it to deposit them there? I personally, and I think I spoke about this in a previous press briefing, in the area of Milton Peters College, rather by St. Dominic School, saw two gentlemen offloading a small pickup into a garbage bin. And I stopped and I told him, I said, why are you doing this? This is not a garbage bin to dispose of garbage in such a fashion. If you already have them on a pickup, take them to the dump. And one of them apologized, and he said, Prime Minister, we are going to take it to the dump, but because the truck was overloaded, the pickup was overloaded, we didn't want the garbage to fall on the road as we were driving. I said, then you should have covered it wherever it is you were leaving with it. So, yes, I'm not covering for any garbage contractor. I can tell you that I am confident that there are people out there deliberately trying to create the impression that either the garbage is not collected properly or to create the impression that the place is inundated with garbage no matter what. You would empty the bins, let's say at 10 o'clock, and by 12 o'clock, they're overflowing with garbage. What I told the contractor as well, I said, you got to bear in mind that we are in the hurricane season. People may have a tendency, whether they're more aware this year or not, but people have a tendency whenever the hurricane season is coming to start pruning trees. It's an advice that government gives them as well. Make sure, clean your yard, get rid of unnecessary debris. So it is also possible that people are adhering to this and therefore there is more garbage. But pallets, for instance, in the areas that I spoke about, is clearly to me an indication that somebody, whether one or more people, organized or not, are deliberately behind a scheme to create a wrong impression.
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you Be Sure? Be Sure.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you Be Sure? Be Sure.
Yeah!
Here we go! This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that have come to last. Here's to living in the now.
When you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good.
And I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey, I'm gonna live
see. So good for everyone.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
Where it pertains to claims, we will appreciate if anyone have any situation where they claim that they will do it within 48 hours. Because when you have a claim, our distribution department can always go back and they can know exactly how much voltage was sent out, so then they can monitor it. And once it is, confirmed that it's so, GB does, reimburse. We have our claims form. Right now they are the distribution department, so you can come, you can write a letter, you can send it in, or you can come to the distribution department, you fill in the claim form, and the process will start from there. And once you get the claim form, I have a copy here, because I expected this. In the back have general information about the claim. In the back have a general information and in what moment you'll be reimbursed, yes or no. And in front have all the information where you have to fill in. And then they start to go through the process. And once it's approved and it's justified, then here we do reimburse. But what happened? Oftentimes people want to come 3 months later. How are we going to verify? Maybe someone say, yeah, but if it's GB doing it, maybe you should go to GB. But then if you come 3 months later, the time have elapsed. Then it's difficult for GB to be able to justify or for us to come to any agreement with that situation. So we're asking the community, if you have claims, you have to do it within 48 hours.
I was also mentioned the discussion this morning on putting it online so that people...
Oh yes, and one of the things we're going to put the form online, so then they can always download it. So we put it on our website, and they fill it in, and they bring it and drop it in, and the process will start.
That was discussed this morning.
This morning that we're going to do that,
We think
yes.
that should be done.
And one of the things that we asking our customers, any complaint, we have our customer service at nvgebe.com. They can send whatever the complaint is, because that is, once you channel your complaint to that email address, feedback will always come. So we asking them to do that. What we noticing, they're sending everything to secretary. Then the secretary have to send it to the different department. But if they send it to the customer service, then you guarantee that you're going to get feedback.
Is that on your website? Complaint should be
We have the customer service email address there, because even for the online, maybe we have to detail it a little more further, but even for our online queries, anything, whether you do payments or anything, they always come through the customer service.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
I gonna answer you. If me, Roy Marlin, want to play games, I gonna go home and play with my grandson, 6 years old. At this point in time, the supervisory board of directors that was placed there with confidence of the shareholder will do what it needs to be done to make sure that all processes are followed correctly to appoint people to the function of CEO, COO, and CFO. I stated it, right? I was appointed as chairman of the supervisory board because the shareholder had confidence in me. I think the shareholder appointed all other 6 members as members of the supervisory board because the shareholder have confidence in them. The moment that the shareholder displays that he don't have no confidence in me personally, I am gone. And I think that can be said for all other members of the supervisory board. I think the members of the supervisory board should be granted the opportunity, after 30 days sitting in the seat, to finalize their assessment and come up with a process to appoint the CEO, the COO, and the CFO. But as supervisory board, we are prepared to go to Parliament to explain to Parliament the situation that we found the company in. But as supervisory board, as chairman of the supervisory board, I will not encourage none of my members, and neither myself, to just place somebody in a position for placing them sake. Then we will not be doing justice to the company. We will not be doing justice to GB employees, right, who also have aspirations in future for them to hold management positions within the company. So the process of appointing management has to be transparent, has to be open, right? And anybody from within need to have the opportunity to show their interest within assuming management functions.